Then she'll be happy to introduce him to them. The opportunity comes during a photography exhibition they're all attending. Diane introduces Alexander as a friend to her mother Nicole and her stepfather Philippe, who doesn't speak very well because he's hard of hearing. Alexander charms them all with jokes during the exhibition, then the four of them go to have dinner. Everyone enthusiastically shares stories except for Diane, who keeps noticing how a group from another table keeps pointing at Alexander and laughing. Fed up, Diane goes to them and calls them out on their behavior, causing the group to look away in shame. When she returns to her table, Alexander has gone out to take a call, so Nicole tells Diane she likes Alexander very much. But to Diane's frustration, Nicole refers to him using unkind words, like comparing him to an excitable small dog. After dinner is over and the parents are gone, Alexander has a little chat with Diane to ask her if he can still believe in their relationship. Diane admits it's not easy for her because she's always worrying if she's being thoughtful enough or hurting his feelings. However, she does want to keep trying to be happy with him. Some days later, Alexander visits Diane at the office, eager to see the place where she works. Coralie is welcoming, but she also keeps on being very rude by bending over to talk to Alexander and bringing his glass of water with a straw. Alexander is used to this and ignores it, but it's impossible to ignore Bruno when he arrives, fails to see Alexander, and sits on top of him. Diane has no choice but to introduce them to each other. However, she refuses to argue with Bruno in front of Alexander and takes him to another office. Diane wants to discuss the case, especially since she learned Bruno spent the night with the judge, but Bruno only keeps on calling Alexander names and making fun of Diane's taste in men. Diane won't stand for this though, so she points out that Alexander is an exceptional man and next to him, Bruno is just a bug. This is a brave moment for her. However, when later she goes to the movies with Alexander, she doesn't pay attention and keeps thinking of Bruno's accusations. Alexander notices Diane's weird mood and decides to do something about it. The next day, he finds Bruno in the middle of the street and asks him to leave Diane alone, reminding him they aren't together anymore. Angry, Bruno threatens Alexander with violence, but this isn't enough to make him back off.